in literary criticism. They were the two great masters. Still now, they are considered the best masters because they have started how to criticize literary text, in which way. And when you analyze a drama or poetry, you must read Plato's Republic, Book 10, and Aristotle's Poetics. As a result, we should know their biography in brief. Okay? And this is the portrayal of Plato. You know it. This is not the real picture, imaginary picture. Okay? Life of Plato. He was born about 428 BCE in Athens. Where is Athens? Greece. Met Socrates about 409 BCE. And when he met with Socrates, we know that he became the disciple of Socrates. As a result, the history says that Socrates is the master of Plato. Witnessed the trial and execution of Socrates in 399. Socrates was hanged. Because of what? Because of a false accusation. In that time, the government, the king of Athens, declared that Plato works against religion. Actually, that was not true. They misinterpreted Socrates and they executed him. As a disciple, Plato observed it very closely. Next, what? Traveled widely throughout the what? Mediterranean. So traveling is important. Yesterday we also, in the last class we mentioned that traveling is very important to enhance your knowledge, to acquire knowledge, to get the latest knowledge. At the same time, it will help to cope up, to know which culture is better and where the other, if there is any branches of knowledge, other knowledge, you can easily gather them. Okay? Then returned to Athens and founded the academy in 387. 387 he founded an academy where we know that Aristotle went and he became his disciple or his student there. In that time, it was considered as an university. Why? Because in his academy, he didn't teach anything ordinary or traditional way. He tries to what? He tries to make the student read, analyze, and criticize each and everything, paying their attentions deeply. And they introduce some new theories to the readers. And you know that in university level everything is based on research based. Okay, research based everything is introduced. But in school level, in college level, we have seen that research is not done. As it is based on research, so it is considered as university in that time. It is one of the ancient universities. So later on we haven't seen its existence. Okay? And he died when? Some people claim that he died 348. Some claim that he died 347 BC in Athens. Plato's Academy. The academy is said by many to be the first European university. Its comprehensive curriculum included astronomy, biology, mathematics, political theory, and philosophy. I mean support. These branches of knowledge, theories, analyzed where? In the academy of Plato. And that is what? Comprehensive curriculum. Comprehensive curriculum. Astronomy. It was important and the ancient or the oldest school of knowledge. Then biology and of course mathematics, political theory, republic. His republic is introduces what? Introduces political issues, political what? Phenomenon and other things as well. Okay? It was closed almost 100 years later by Europe what? Emperor Justinian. Why? You know that whenever an autocratic ruler came to the power throne, they fear of what? Boldness. They fear to knowledge. They try to stop everything. What reason? Whenever you go to some true knowledge and analyze the theories, you may feel what is right and what is wrong. As a result, we see in a British India, Nozul was sent to jail several times and his books are prohibited, banned it. So 1,000 years it lasted long. Okay? Then symposium. Symposium was a Greek drinking party. All male affair. The women were what? Entertained. Young boys were served. Nowadays, now the symposium and his symposium or the ancient Greek symposium's concept were not the same. It was a completely different one. Dinners ate stretched out on couches large enough for two. Plato's symposium was analysis of love. In an inn or a what bar, whenever they gather and the women are dancing, playing their role to entertain the men, observing it, Plato get an idea why the people are doing that. He thought that because of their love. It's the expression of their love. The love of the women, the love of the men, and he analyzes it in his book there. Next, Plato's epistemology. Epistemology means of what? Epistemology is the study of knowledge. I mean scientific way of studying or acquiring knowledge. That is called what? That is called epistemology. Okay? For Plato, the question becomes, how do we know what we know? How do we know what we know? It's a question. Frequently we ask, who am I? Who am I? We just tell them our name. Or we mention who are our parents, where I am living now, etc., etc. But this is not my existence. My existence is something else. Similarly, in ancient period, Plato asks, how do we know what we know? What is the way? Plato watched his mentor Socrates chases out the understanding of an idea through his questions. He came to believe that we all know everything already and only need to remind of what we know. Remind what we know. It's a great philosophical comment of Plato. He came to believe that we all know everything already. What do we need? We need only to be reminded of what we know. What I am saying here, you know it. but you don't know where you should apply it, how to apply it, or how you can utilize it. That is the difference. For example, William Wordsworth, he is called a what? Poet of nature, because he loves the nature. Interestingly, all we love also nature. If you go to a big Cox's Bazar in Sea Beach, or if you go to Rangamati or Bandarban, you will be thrilled. And you will try to stay more days there. And you become what? Fresh, mentally, physically, and you can enhance your knowledge at the same time physical strength, mental strength as well. So what is the difference? He first visits there and discloses it to us. So whenever he tells it, whenever we read his Tincture and Abbe, we can remember our memories and we feel the same thing. It means of what? Plato's conception is right. Everything we know, just we need what? We need to remind it. Is it clear? From our early childhood, a boy or a girl, a child, whenever he is asked to write or read, he or she may not read. What do? You try to utter something, you try to act in which way he will act or he should act. Seeing it or imitating you, he or she becomes successful one. It means work. It is reminded you that that is the way you have to work. Okay? Next, Plato thought that before we were born, we exist on another plane. We might call that spiritual plane heaven, but I don't want you to confuse his ideas with our ideas of heaven. Our ideas of heaven come from our different cultural background. It is important. You see that we Muslims, their ideas of paradise or heaven is not same to the Hindus' idea or the Christian ideas. There are some subtle differences. It based on what? Your culture, your beliefs, your norms, your taste. So, Plato tries to avoid it because it varies from gender to gender or country to country or culture to culture. Okay? These are not difficult. Actually, we are talking the background or the biography. Just for what reason? If anyone asks that you are reading Poetics of Aristotle, he or she asks you, who is Plato? What is his contribution? What is his philosophical ideas? If you fail to answer, it will make you ashamed. That's why we are talking this. Then this is how you have seen that. Is a student Aristotle. That's why frequently I mention that whenever you get some good teachers, good environment, the student will also be good one. Good ones, obviously. When the teacher comes in the classroom and they are what? Ignoring some difficult things, they fail to share their knowledge properly to you, you may not learn those things. I mean, support. This is the responsibility of the teachers. As you have seen that, Socrates is the teacher of Plato. Plato is the teacher of Aristotle. And Aristotle is the teacher of Alexander the Great. All of them become of what? Great masters of the world. So, teachers-students relationship must be stronger and very close. Otherwise, we cannot exchange our knowledge. His life. Aristotle was born in 384 BCE at Stagirus. Now, what? Greek colony and a seaport on the coast of Thrace. Actually, it was not the first the port of the Greece. Later on, it is extended and become a Greece as well. His father, who is his father? Nicomachus is important character because his father worked at the palace of. His father was a teacher of Alexander the Great as well. Alexander the Great's father, okay? He worked there. Who was court physician to King Aventus. His father was a doctor, physician, and he worked as a royal physician where? In the palace of King Aventus of Macedonia. And from this began Aristotle's long association with the Macedonian court, which considerably influenced his life. When you read in a university, where without reading, without attending the class, you are getting mass mark. What does it mean that? It will influence your life whenever you go to practical life. But when you go somewhere else, where without attending the class, without making presentation, without what? Doing some group works, you can change your life. And it will what? It will reflect it in your practical life as well. As a result, what's happened? The public university students try to what? They try to do some group works because it is important. Okay? So I hope also you will try to do it. You should not only come and go, okay? You should change your train as well. Then what? While he was still a boy, his father died. While he was a boy, at the age of 17, his guardian, okay, Proxenus, sent him to Athens, the intellectual center of the world, to complete his education. He joined the academy and studied under Plato, attending his lectures for a period of 20 years. How much long? How many long? Or how much long? He was a student of Plato. He was a student of 20 years. So, such a teacher, whenever he could stay there, long time, he could learn a lot of things. I have got also Plato. That was Let's Out to the Moon. Yeah, I saw him 14 years. 14 years, can't you imagine? Then Aristotle is a towering figure in ancient Greek philosophers, making contribution to logic, metaphysics, mathematics, biology, botany, ethics, politics, agriculture, medicine, dance, and theatre. You have seen that he introduces 5 or 6 schools of knowledge. He extended it, this more and more. And what are the new here we have got that? That is what? Contribution to logic, this is the same. Metaphysics, mathematics is the same. Mathematics is the individual one. Biology also introduced by Plato. But botany, then of what? Ethics, politics is a similar. Agriculture, medicine, dance and theatre. How many branches of knowledge have we gathered so far? Why we are reading, we are studying Plato is still now, or Aristotle is still now, because they have learned a lot of things. And you know that in ancient period there is no word internet, or it was not easy access to get a book as well. There is no book at all. But they themselves started those things. As these are available nowadays, we can what? Collect each and every thing easily. And unfortunately, we may not try to enhance our knowledge. He was a student of Plato, already we have mentioned, who in turn studied under Socrates. He was more empirically minded than Plato or Socrates, and he is famous of rejecting Plato's theory of forms. More interesting, it is interesting that Plato and Aristotle were master and the disciple, teacher and students, but their ideas regarding poetry, or Plato's theory of forms are not similar. Lots of contradictions we have found there. Whenever you start reading Poetics, very first 4 chapters are the rejections of Plato's ideas. Plato's ideas. It is interesting. And more interesting is that Plato knows in his life Aristotle rejects his ideas, but the teacher never denies his students, rebukes his students, or punishes his students. Rather, they become closer and closer. So this is the great achievement. In our society, what we have seen that when a student rejects his teacher's ideas, the teacher mentions that, hey, you know, he becomes a madbor or such thing. You shouldn't mention this and this. But this should not be. This is a lesson for us that. Another example, frequently I mentioned, Dave Wharton. He was the former coach of Bangladesh cricket team. As a cricketer, he was completely unsuccessful one. But as a coach, he becomes more successful or successful one. As we have seen that his students, Saqib Al Hasan or Ashraful or so and so, they dominate the whole cricket world. So this is their great achievement. Yesterday we have seen that Gordon Green, he visited Bangladesh and he summoned all his former disciples, Athar Ali Khan, Naim Muhammad Durjo, Akram Khan. He summoned them, get together. He came to West Indies to Bangladesh only for what? Exchanging his views after 20 or 25 years. What does it mean? That it should be the relationship between the master and teacher, and the lesson we have got from where? We have got from the relationship between Socrates, Plato and Aristotle. As a prolific writer and polymath, Aristotle radically transformed most, if not all, areas of knowledge he touched. It is no wonder that Aquinas referred to him simply as the philosopher. In his lifetime, Aristotle wrote as many as 200 treatises, of which only 31 survive. Can you imagine that in his life he wrote 200 books? 200 books. And how many books we have got? We have got only 31. Okay? Aristotle was the first to classify areas of human knowledge into distinct disciplines such as mathematics, biology and ethics. Some of these classifications are still used today. I mean, suppose what he introduced or what he classified, still now no one can avoid it, or no one can overcome beyond his ideas. So he is talented. Obviously, you must tell that he is one of the talented ones. As a father of the field of logic, he was the first to develop a formalized system of reasoning. Aristotle observed that the validity of any argument can be determined by its structure rather than its content. A classical example of a valid argument is his syllogism, all men are mortal. All men are mortal. Socrates is a man, therefore Socrates is mortal. What is it? Logic. In poetics, in chapter maybe 3 or 4, you will get chapter 16, you will get some example. In our society, frequently we mention that the human being are of what? Having grass. How? What is the logic? As we of what? Cows or red meat, and all the cattle are what? Having grass. So it means of what? Indirectly we are having grass. This is the logic. Similarly here, all men are mortal. As Socrates is a man, Socrates is mortal. Okay. Aristotle did not take over Plato's academy, but he started his own school, the Lyceum. His teaching methods, participatis, then what involves walking about and talking. Aristotle became Alexander the Great's tutor, though his philosophy focused on the king. Polis means politics actually, and Alexander embraced the vision of king, cosmopolitan. More interesting, you will be surprised at. He is a teacher of Alexander the Great. But when Alexander the Great became the king of Macedonia throne, then and there he resigned and he came back to his own academy. Can you guess why he has left? If I were there, I may not. I thought that, oh, my student became the king of the state, so I should stay here more and more because he would honor me and I would enjoy more facilities. But Aristotle was different. When his student became the king, he left his palace. Why? Is there any logic? Anyone?
He becomes egoistic.
Only for that reason? No. As we already mentioned that, he knows the nature of politics. He knows the nature of the king. He knows the nature of what? Ethics. And he could realize in that time, if he stays there sometimes, it will be contradictory with his students. His students may not run his country properly. So two tigers should not stay in the same forest. Better he leave, because what? His students is now enough mature to hold the what? Power of the throne. Okay, that's what. With Alexander's death, anti-Macedonian riots broke out in Athens, and Aristotle fled lest Athens commit the same crime twice. We have over 2,000 pages of writing attributed to Aristotle, including his great book, what? Politics. And these are the famous writing of Aristotle. What? Economics, then mathematics, metaphysics, then meteorology, physics, poetics, which we are going to read, politics, posterior analytics, then branches of philosophy. He has introduced some branches of philosophy. This is about metaphysics. It means about questions related to existence. Nowadays, the people are there are theories are very much read or analyzed by the researcher. One is about existentialism. Another is crisis of identity. Crisis of identity. So these are based on what? These are based on metaphysics, because it is questions related to existence. Next one is epistemology, questions related to knowledge. Already we have mentioned how to acquire knowledge. He mentioned that. How do we know what we know? It explains where? In epistemology. Then logic, theory of correct reasoning. Frequently, we have seen that we have no logic. We are trying to present something else. Emotional. When we become or we offer someone else my love, words, there is no logic. Why you fell in love, that girl or that boy? We don't know. There is no logic. Most of the time, we approach it emotionally, but he says that obviously you cannot avoid your emotion, but there should have some logic. As a result, in our country, we have seen, or in the present world, we have seen most of the what young couple cannot reach their goal because they are continuing their affairs emotionally. Your logic. And when you become mature, especially the girl can understand that the boy may not have a job, so I should not go with him. I should leave him and someone else. And now, especially in the first decade of the 20th century, people are trying about young people, especially the boys are trying that, if the girls' parents have a house or flat or car or a good bank balance, I can try to make a relation. This is your logic. Okay, next one is values or ethics. So, if you have any questions regarding their biography, you can ask me. Do you have any questions? Can we summarize this thing? I think summarize. Who can mention the relationship between Plato and Aristotle?